Look at this guy. Tell me he's not the most adorable thing you've ever seen. I dare you. Hi. I'm currently recovering from Baldur's Gate 3 addiction, and after absorbing a 3-month dosage, I realize now that it's not good for me, and I'll never go back. Okay, maybe just one more playthrough. You see, I wrote that joke back in March of 2024, and seeing that it's now been, oh my gosh! I've remembered that I have a channel to upkeep. I wanted to talk to you about one of the games that hasn't left my mind ever since I first played it nearly 2 years ago. That being Toem. For those of you that don't know what this game is or who this lovely little fella is, this is Toem. Okay, well, not exactly. This cute little guy is the character you play to get to Toem. Toem is this mystical event that can only be seen at the very tip top of a specific mountain, and not many people get to see the wonder and beauty that it brings. And you, as a young and up-and-coming artist, want to take your shot at grabbing a picture of one of the most beautiful events to ever grace the land, being motivated purely by your drive to capture the beauty of the world. You start off as a photographer, having just woken up from a deep slumber, remembering the Dark Ages. Oh God! You walk out of your room and talk with your grandmother. She's immensely excited for you to start your picture adventure. She gets ready to send you off, but in order for you to make it to Kriuberg, I am so sorry, you first need a bus ticket. Lucky for us, bus tickets are free if we just help out the community. Making a child do your jail time community service, you damn dirty ape. Before we hop any further into the premise of this game, to better understand our goal, I should explain the mechanics and style of the game a bit. The game is designed in this 3-dimensional world with 2-dimensional characters, somewhat in the same vein as Paper Mario, albeit a bit more simplified. Now, with the main draw of the game being photography, this art style or game design choice seems like a bad idea for this concept, and it'd be near impossible to make a quality photography-based game in this style. But there's the kicker. Toem has the ability for you to go into camera mode, so you can see the entire world from where you stand fully within first person. You get to see the world in a totally different perspective, bringing to life all the little details that you might not have paid attention to had the game stayed in third person. This mix of art style alongside the changing perspectives brings a really creative and fresh new landscape that I've truly never seen before. The game mechanics aren't inherently deep per se, but they don't need to be. As you progress through the game, you do get more tools at your disposal like the tripod and the horn, which opens up the door for even more creative puzzles, but it's not inherently complicated and it doesn't need to be. This whole game is centered around taking in the world around you, stopping to appreciate what's in front of you, and helping out those who are in need. It's not trying to be a pioneer of the future, it just wants you to join in on the experience. The game has 4 full locations, or regions as they put it, for you to explore. 5 if you include Bosto, which they added in a free update later on, and 7 if you include the start and the finish. And each location has a different theme that ties into the gameplay. For example, say you went into the mountain region. It's pretty cold up there, so when you open up your camera, you have a slight bit of a shakiness to it, unless you're wearing some sort of coat or a scarf to warm you up. And then that leads into another piece of contextual game design. There's clothing in the game, and while most of it is purely cosmetic, there are a lot of specific contextual benefits compared to the others, depending on the region you're in, as with the example of the mountain. Another example is with the reporter hat that you will have to use to get entry into the fashion show. This little piece of game design opens the door for the puzzles to branch off of each other, so when you help one person, you ultimately end up helping another by doing their puzzle as well. It takes the Klaus approach of, and a simple act of kindness always leads to another, or Aunt May's, when you help someone, you help everyone. This game is so incredibly cozy feeling, like sitting by the fire with your PJs on, maybe a hot cup of cocoa, watching Christmas movies you've seen 100 times, and yet every time you watch them you can't help but feel safe. That's what Toem gives you. And this is helped by the amazing soundtrack, composed by Jamal Green and Launchable Socks, beautiful name by the way. In fact, the music I've used throughout the entire video has come from the game itself. Some of my favorites including Fisherman's Tune, Everybody That You Meet, A Place in the Sun, and honestly, the entire soundtrack is just so amazing and relaxing. I love this soundtrack so much that I even pre-ordered the vinyl bundle that got released back at the end of April. If that shows you how much longer I've put off this video, please forgive me something we made. So in this portion of my script, I have a tag that says go off script, just to talk about some of the little things that stood out to me when I was playing through this game. And it's not that long of a game. It's about 3 to 5 hours, so it's not like you're putting in like a full-time commitment or anything like that. But one of the things that I really enjoy about the game is that they have this little like animal photo album where they have all these little things and creatures that are across every single map that you play through, and you can just take a picture of them and it'll log them in. Some of the times they'll involve puzzle solving, because someone would want to see something like fireflies, or they want to see the snail win its race or something like that. But a lot of the time it's just taking a picture of the animals that are around. You get to see some cool things. One that is a constant reoccurrence is the Tatos. I love them. They are so adorable, but I just wanted to bring notice to that. And not all the puzzles are solved by taking a picture of one thing and then showing it to another. There are a lot of different points where it's like, oh, you have to use the horn to bring these birds away so that you can grab a picture of this thing. Or you need to collect dinosaur bones or certain figures that some people are need. Like one person needs a sock that is weirdly smelly, and he gives you one of them because he has two for some reason, and he doesn't want a pair, he just wants his one, so he gives you that one. A couple of my favorites that stand out, there's a monster collecting one where every single map has a monster that will pop up, and the only way that you can get them is by placing down the tripod and leaving the area, because they won't pop up when someone's around. So doing those types of puzzles, it's kind of neat because it spans across each region, and some of them pop up and they're just really nice. Like, they're adorable looking. I love the designs in this game. It's just very sweet and wholesome. Like as mentioned in that campfire analogy, sitting by the fire with your PJs on, like it's just a nice feeling just going through this game. Another one of my favorites is that you have this ghost that tries to scare you, and if she succeeds, then you have to go out on a date with her, and then you have to try to find the most romantic date spot around the city. So it's just little things like that. It's just so cute. I don't really have any big complaints or issues or anything with that, because I feel like they have tested it really well. And again, it's not that long of a game to have too many issues or anything like that. There are some really tough ones in there. Some of the times, you know, because it utilizes the 3D plane, a lot of the times you can have something where it's like, oh, it's behind this building that you can only see using the camera. And that's where the benefit of going back and forth between the perspectives comes from. It's just super neat to see something like this, because I've never seen a game designed in this way before. And it's just super sweet to see that a small dev team was able to create something that was so unique and wholly to them. Like, I'm at a loss for words, honestly. I mean, again, I had this section to go off script, so I'm gonna hop my way back into that. But if there's anything that pops up that comes to mind, I'll probably add it in later on or whatnot. But yeah, let's get back into it. Now, as I said, the game isn't that long, so there's not too much to talk about in between the adventure, aside from just saying, hey, I took a picture of this guy and solved this puzzle. You know, there's not too much of a nitty-gritty story detail that goes along. You're just trying to get from start to finish, and you help the community along the way. And the main goal from the time you hopped out of bed is to get to the top of the mountain to take a picture of Toem. And now that we're at the end, the big question: what is Toem? I've debated and rewritten this part so many times because I truly don't want to spoil this adventure for anyone. There's a part of me that wants to put a spoiler warning section to allow people to skip past in case they're interested in playing the game themselves. Another part of me feels most people won't check the game out and just feel that the conclusion to this video is lackluster and unsatisfying because of it. However, I honestly feel like I'm doing this dev team a disservice by showing you all what Toem actually is here in this video. If I show it here, the magic and awe of it just all goes to waste, and no one will want to experience it themselves. I know you can go look online and see it for yourself, but this game hit such a special place in my heart that I have no idea that I had, and I was truly only able to fully experiencing it by going in blind. The game itself can be completed within 3 to 5 hours, so it's not like you're committing a lifetime like to Red Dead 2 or Baldur's Gate 3. Is the reveal itself visually and wholeheartedly world-changing? Well, depending on who you are, probably not. But I can say for certain that it definitely impacted my own world. I strongly urge you to give this game a chance, and to stick through it to the end. Let that artist inside of you venture out and explore the world firsthand. I promise you won't regret it. And after beating the main game, there was even an added region that was released a year later called Basto, or Basto, or Basto, however you want to say it. In it, you unlock the new mechanic of chucking water balloons at all passersby. There's a lot of cute objectives like the portrait lady or the King Tato, somewhat feeling like small appreciation for all the accomplishments you made within the base game. And at the very end, after you've completed all you've needed to, you get invited to rest up at the campfire. Everyone's gathered around, and they now ask you about your adventures and what all you've seen by helping those around you and capturing those precious moments forever. Then, as the camera pans up from the crowd, laughter amongst them slowly fades, and a message pops up from the developers. It's such a sweet message, and when I first read this, I teared up. Seeing a passion project come to fruition, getting so much love and support, it's beautiful. This is a team that loves what they're doing. They were able to take an opportunity they had and a creative vision and share something special with the world. That being emotion. Pure and utter emotion. A game that seems so simplistic by nature can tell such a strong and endearing story. I read that this game actually was pretty tough for them to nail the concept and execution of, even facing delays on release because of compatibility errors and slow development with certain console ports. But even through the development struggles, they still stuck to it because they wanted to share their art and vision with the world, and truly, what better gift is there to give? And to add to this point, I had never heard of or even seen this game in my life beforehand. I was able to play this for free back in September of 2022 while I was a PlayStation Plus member, and I grabbed it when it popped up as one of the free games for that month. And to see such a heartwarming and genuine message from the developers of a project I would have never taken a chance on, it filled me with a strong emotion I never felt before. That's why I'm making this video for you today. The idea that I could have gone my entire life without ever even knowing this passion project existed, it made me realize that there are so many others out there in the world that aren't given the same amount of spotlight to shine. I wanted to talk about this game because I feel it doesn't get the attention it deserves. Not a single person I watch on YouTube, nor any that I've researched, have ever talked about this game. So I felt I should be the one to light the wick first. I know this video may not reach many people, but for those of you who made it this far, thank you. If there's something you feel passionate about, go out there and create. Spread that message to the world with whoever and wherever you can. Support this game and team if any of the things I talked about interested you. It's available on most common digital stores, and they also just released the physical edition online not too long ago, so check that out if that piques your interest. Thank you all for watching, and thank you, Something We Made, for making something that will stick with me forever. He even had an appearance in Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and he's incredibly adorable. I just want to mention that. Okay, bye.